This CEDA video is brought to you by Shoshone-Bannock Hotel.
Get away to Southeast Idaho's newest casino hotel. For only $75 per night, you'll enjoy award-winning comfort at its best with 156 rooms, beautiful suites, full spa, and new restaurants. Plus, it's located right next to Fort Hall Casino, offering over 900 machines of pure casino excitement 24 hours a day. Call 1-855-746-2268 for your special $75 hotel rate. Again, that's 1-855-SHOW-BAN-8.
Contention 1 is the NRC to determine protection standard used for radiation contact as well as other harmful emissions that are products of producing nuclear energy. The National Regulatory Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the U.S. Department of Energy base all of their calculations on what is known as the reference or standard man. This character is a 20 to 30-year-old Caucasian male with average stature from Western European or North American culture. The use of reference man as the sole standard for regulations requires populations that do not fit the qualities are excluded from protection. Machiani 08. Reference man was attempted to provide a standard set of biological characteristics that be used to systematize the calculation of radiation protection. Reference man is defined as being between 20 and 30 years of age, weighing 150 pounds, is 5 feet 7 inches in height, lives in climate with an average temperature of 10 to 20 degrees Celsius, a Caucasian, Western European, or North American habitat and custom. This definition leaves out a vast majority of people, including substantial numbers of workers, from explicit consideration of radiation protection. The continued use of reference man is war practice because it does not take into account the greater radiation doses received in some parts of the population that result from the same environmental condition, the higher cancer risk per unit of dose they face, especially applies to women and children. Even though reference man is taken in adult male on 20, this definition makes no mention of the possibility of may become following what that might mean in terms of the impacts on the framework of radiation protection regulations. While radiation, the dose of the gonads calculated reference man framework to taking out possible hereditary effects, non-cancer reproductive effects are not part of the U.S. regulatory framework for radiation protection. Reference man is currently the basis of many federal regulations and compliance guidelines, including workplace radiation exposure, claim of radioactively contaminated sites, some radionuclides, and drinking water, notably alpha radiation emitting transuranic radionuclides. Reference man used in three federal agencies: the Environmental Protection Agency, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the Department of Energy. And even though the statistical representation for the effects of women and children, the use of reference man is pervasive in many different energy industries. Machiani 08.
So let's talk about what is feminism.
What is feminism?
What is feminism?
In terms of the 1AC, like we have endorsed a feminist critical discourse, which analyzes the way language functions in terms of like academic discourse.
Sure, but what is feminism?
What is like
the feminism of the 1AC? Show your critique of language, but I'm trying to get at what feminism is.
Like trying to give our feminism a title?
No, I'm not trying to get it a title. I'm trying to understand so that I can debate.
There are different kinds of feminism. The feminism that we endorse is a specific discourse analysis.
Okay.
The Lazar evidence is really specific to our kind of feminism being very reflexive, very open to different kinds of social locations.
Sure.
And
what's a social location?
A social location? The way or the position that people are in, that they find themselves in. Like I am a debater at Idaho State. I'm a big sister.
Sure.
Yeah. On your Lazar assessment, I mean, you have multiple, but this is the crucial first step towards oppression. So you're the first starting point, right? Prior to, I mean, before we can talk about energy policy, we must address how
we're a policy prerequisite.
Yeah, you're prerequisite to policy.
But you have the best way to approach debate, correct?
We don't claim that. We claim that we are a crucial strategy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Although colonial administrations have been almost entirely eradicated, non-European people are still living under the crude Euro-American exploitation and domination of colonial hierarchies of European versus non-European remain in place and entangled the international division of labor, accumulation, and capital. The world scale coloniality allows us to understand the continuum of colonial forms of domination and the end of the colonial system and administration produced by the colonial cultures and structures of the modern colonial capitalist world system. Coloniality power first to crucial structuring process in the modern colonial world system that articulates peripheral location and international division of labor, the global racial ethnic hierarchy. Colonial doesn't only refer to classical colonialism or intercolonialism, nor can it be reduced to the presence of colonial administration. And next, coloniality is not a problem isolated in any one particular spirit. It exists at the intersection of issues, reckless accumulation of capital, racism, homophobia, sexist, global ideologies. In order to combat coloniality and power, there must be an approach from the positionality that recognizes the heterogeneous nature of these ideologies. Gospel 9. A peripheral nation state may experience the transforms of its form of incorporation in the capitalist world economy. To break within the transform of the whole system within the nation state is completely beyond the range of possibilities. A global problem cannot have a national solution. The point here is to reify the nation state and understand the limits of political interventions at this level for the long transition of a system that operates within a world scale. The nation state is limited space for the radical political social transformation. Agencies the periphery need a global scope in order to make an effective political intervention. Coloniality is the power, a concept that attempts to integrate as part of the heterogeneous structure process the multiple relations to which cultural, political, and economic processes are entangled in capitalism. Coloniality conceptualizes the process of colonization of the Americans and the constituted capitalist world economy is part of the same entangled process. Structural heterogeneity implies the constitution of global racial hierarchy that was simultaneously in time and space constitution of internal division of labor.
say that privileging gender and sex-based hierarchies is inherently colonialist, correct?
Absolutely, because they created these hierarchies to begin with.
Okay, so what's the foundation of your queer ecology argument?
I'm sorry?
The queer ecology argument is not talking about a hierarchical structure.
Okay.
What Thomas Morton specifically critiques is the creation of an inside-outside binary.
Which you create by using male, female, masculine, feminine. You're creating that we're all different, that there's some type of separation between us.
That there's some type of separation.
Absolutely, and the
And
hierarchy.
that's a hierarchy that your evidence is talking about?
That's decoloniality. That's creating to the gender, racial, epistemic hierarchies they created because of this colonialist mindset, which you are thus utilizing by naming women as women. You are using the name that they gave to us to make us another.
The impacts of case outweigh the impact of decay. We have an in-round impact based on the feminization of the NRC regulations. Debate is a communicative activity that teaches its members how to create positive relationships to policymaking. This impact is going to come first because the negative impact is not going to be solved for by voting for the negative team and firm to both individual politics is just as important as radical politics. Self-transformation is key to the movement. This Darcy and not change society is about to change oneself in the course of such self-activity and exploiting depressed people not only begin to change the world, but also begin to change themselves. And they begin to contemplate more far-reaching social transformation as they gain deeper insight into the systemic roots of the social problems. In order to realize radical agenda activists have to rely on the emergence of a movement for self-emancipation, in which an exploited and oppressed group transforms itself into a collective agent of its own liberation, and thereby becomes a force for radical social change. Radicals cannot liberate others, but can only foster the emergence and strengthening of movements in which exploit and oppress people to work toward liberating themselves and firm to both. We already embrace the alternatives notion of re-examining our basis of knowledge of subcomic and photo evidence from the 1AC criticizes dominant Western norms of knowledge production, and our starting point is the best one. Self-reflexivity allows people to understand how they fit into CEDA from their economic, cultural, and any other positions they identify with. This key to solve the criticisms. This is Schneider in 12. When a Michael creates a reciprocal relationship with those European Americans engaged in such a discourse by adding and asserting a tribally informed perspective and knowledge, and thus maintaining sovereignty, the revision of conventional history by colonized peoples is necessary in order to resuscitate their own hidden histories. This is the moment of decolonization, when it becomes not only to include accounts of marginalized people, but to be produced by them in various forms of self-representation. When America's tribology opens up interpretations of history by providing an alternative perspective, keeping history alive, even with its embedded ambiguities and conflict, maintains a reciprocal relationship with European American histories and representations, and therefore enacts indigenous feminism. And the permutation is going to be able to solve best because it takes into account the language that the debate community and policymakers use surrounding energy policies without a focus. Patriarchy takes over. That's the rigor evidence from the previous flow, and we must address Western notions of masculinity, otherwise dominance will continue. This Schneider in 12. She consistently meditates and translates cultural understanding and representations of masculinity and the discourse of morality upon which both Native and European American masculinities rely. Meditation or mediation often reproduces rather than reduces conflict. She indirectly identifies the fundamental paradigm or ideology that informs gender and race as a hierarchy of dominance in Western cultures opposed to inclusivity, complementarity, and reciprocity in a culture. How European American masculinity indicates negatively affects Pew Whitman and conceptions of masculinity first upon contact to market there, and the two positions seem to be very contradictory.
The app world has a telos world. We're not engaging in any telos. There is no world. We're all just mesh interconnectedness. Rejecting compulsory nature allows the queer body to be realized, and it's the cleansing of unnatural queers from compulsory nature structure that insists that they are the other, different, not part of the norm. We're an impact turn to the ethical organization of the 1AC. We're also going to turn the case here. Queer ecology prevents the violence of all others by reframing the environment to prevent the destruction of the unfit other. This is Hogan intent. Queer critical intervention into such uses of nature and environment expose the dark premises to which nature and environmentalism can be put, disrupting, challenging, undermining normative ideas of what counts as naturally and fit and unfit. Such critical work is important to humans and all nature is the work of identifying environmental racism. Typical instances of environmental degradation include the destruction of queer bodies, communities, and cultures through topical discourses of unnatural, and unfit. I marked the card for you. And we're going to be turning patriarchy as well. Heteronormativity reveals itself through compulsory heterosexuality. Compulsory heterosexuality is patriarchal, subordinates, degrades, and oppresses women. This is yet in 8. Heteronormativity manifests itself through obligatory heterosexuality. Compulsory heterosexuality creates a condition which it never occurs to many women to be anything else but heterosexual. The channels these women into marriage, motherhood, and the service of men. Heterosexuality is the key side of male dominance and power. Heterosexuality, a patriarchal institution that subordinates, degrades, and oppresses women.